Hey, what's up guys? So, I've been gone for quite a while now, but I was really busy at work, and I did actually get some stuff done though, even though I was really busy. This is the black car that you've seen earlier. See? The motor is in. It's all together and running. I do have a couple issues though. The thermostat, I need to swap again. This is the third time, because the first one was too hot. It was running at like 215 to 217, which isn't overheating, but it's hotter than my other car is. So I bought a new one. It ended up being the same brand. So I tested them both out in a pot of water, and they both opened at basically 212, which is not what they're rated for. So I have another one. So I have another brand right here I'm gonna put in. And I guess I'll just go ahead and get started and show you guys how to do it. It's really easy. So basic overview is you need to take out this bolt right here, and then this can slide up. You'll need to unplug that yellow wire right there to the power steering pump. Well, the first thing you need to do is come down here and get you a pan, put it underneath the rad right here, get you a big screwdriver. And then on the other side of this rad, there's a drain bolt, and you just undo it, and then it'll start slowly leaking out. And then you'll have to come back up here and then take that cap off, because otherwise it's going to drain out really slow, because you have to get air into here so it can drain out the bottom. And then you can start doing all this stuff while it's draining, because it's going to drain for like 3 years or something. I don't really know, but I'm going to go ahead and get this draining, and then I'll pick back up. Alright, so you can see that's the drain bolt right here, and look how much it's draining. It's like barely draining at all. That's because I haven't loosened the cap yet. As soon as you loosen the cap, it's going to just start pouring out of here. So I'll make sure in a good spot. As soon as you crack this cap, cap's on, and now you can see it. See, now it's pouring out a lot. So you're just gonna let that go while you do the rest of the stuff. So some things you gotta do, you gotta take this, you can take this little cover off. There's just 2 bolts right here. It's pretty easy. You're gonna take this bolt out so you can move the power steering reservoir out of the way. And you're gonna want to take this belt off, which is down underneath of here with a 14 mil end wrench. So if your car doesn't have the bumper and it's stock ride height, it's really easy to do it without jacking the car up. But if you don't want to take your bumper off, I mean, mine's been off. I haven't actually put it back on. But if you jack up your car, you can get to everything pretty easily. Just make sure you use jack stands, but I'm not going to raise my car because, I mean, there's no point. I can get to everything. Alright, so I've got all the tools I need. I've got an 8 mil, a 14 mil end wrench, a 10 mil socket. It doesn't have to be deep, but that's just what I have. Got a couple of extensions, a 6-inch and a 3-inch. I've got a 12 mil socket, 3/8 ratchet, and I'm going to be using this to get the thermostat out. You don't need it, it's just a little bit faster, but that's literally all you need to do this. Oh, and the screwdriver to get the plug out. So that's it. So first thing you want to do, I already got it drained, cap's open. You come under here, you want to pull your belts off. Alright, belt's loose. I'm just going to leave that that wrench on there, because I don't need it for anything else. So I might as well just leave it there. Next, I'm going to get these tools off of here, because I need to take this off next. Just spin these little 8 mils off. And you're done with the 8 mil. That's it. the 8mm. Take this off, put it to the side, remove the belt from the power steering pump. Next, you're going to want to loosen the power steering pump. There's 3 bolts. There's one here, and one underneath. Usually what I do is I'll loosen this one fully first. So this is the last thing you need, a 12mm end wrench. And all you use it for is you just want to break these loose. Once you break them loose, it's kind of hard to do with gloves, but you just take it and you can spin it by hand really easily. Alright, and you can see this one's loose, but it won't come out because of this line right here. But that's fine. It'll stay in there. It's not going to come out. Just go ahead and take this little ground off right here. So now I've got the connector off of it. So the next bolt I'm going to do, I'm going to take the 3/8 ratchet with the 3-inch extension and a regular 12mm. You can go underneath it here, right under here. So you kind of get it down in the general area. And then you can just have to take your hand and go under like this to feel the bolt and guide the ratchet on. Well, first you need the ratchet going the right way. And you're just gonna sit here for like, I don't know, 3 hours spinning this bolt little by little. Alright, now that bolt's fully out, and the bolt will come out. Just gotta be careful not to drop it. I mean, I guess if it's not too difficult to find, then whatever, but it's just a lot easier to not drop it. Next, take this 12. Put it on the longer extension, and you should be able to kind of, if you have a swivel socket it might be better, but you can just barely get it on here enough doing this. See, to break it loose. And then you just spin it out. You have just enough angle to stay on the bolt without stripping. And this bolt also does come all the way out as well. So you're gonna have to keep track of it so it doesn't fall. Bolt's out. Power steering pump's loose. Put the cap back over there. Next, you need your tin. Take this bolt out right here. Spin it out real quick. Now that's all the bolts you gotta take loose up here. Pop this off its little holder, and then you just swing out the power steering pump. And this little guy should hold itself in place. So the thermostat is right down there. It has 2 hoses on it. You just take a pair of pliers, and honestly, this is probably the most annoying part of the whole job, is getting those hose clamps off, just because it's a little tight down there. But you've got it. Oh, just cracked my whole phone screen trying to use it as a light, so that's great. Anyway, your next step is there's 2 hoses to the thermostat. That's probably the hardest part. Get them off. Probably gonna take a few minutes, but that's okay. You have to do it. Alright, so I just got the clamps off. It actually only took me about 1 minute, but to be fair, I've done this 3 times in the last week. So one little trick for a lot of you guys who haven't had this hose off in a while, you want to take a pair of pliers, wrap around the hose and wiggle it, and that should be able to break it loose so it'll slide off. You'll hear a distinct, like almost like a click of it unsealing itself, and that's when you know you can pull it off by hand. But just get a pair of pliers, grab onto it, twist it side to side, and then you should be able to pull it off by hand easily. Next, there's 3 bolts on the thermostat housing itself. You want to take the 3-inch extension and a 10 mil. And then what I do is I crack all 3 of them loose, and then I put this onto that so that I can just spin them all out really quick. Like, should only take like a minute to do the whole thing, so I'll go ahead and get that done. Actually, you're gonna want to use just a 10 mil deep socket to get all of them loose. The 3-inch extension was actually a little bit too long. It was sitting on this AC line the whole time, so just use the 10. Actual thermostats is something that I wanted to talk about. This is the one that was in the car originally, and this is the one that I just ordered. This brand is Motorad. I can show you it right here. I see it says Motorad. This is probably the most common one you're going to find online or in any parts store, and I don't like it because, like I said, I tested it out. 2 of them. One was brand new, one was a couple years old but very few miles on it. But this spring right here doesn't open until both of them were at like 210, 212 degrees Fahrenheit, which is basically 100 degrees Celsius. So what I did to this one when I found out that both of them were crap is I drilled a few holes in it, and I also made this spring smaller, which obviously was way too much. I should have just did one or the other, but oh well. If you do that, it'll run around 150 or so. But as you can see, even the opening is smaller on the Motorad. You see how this one's like bigger around than this one? So it's going to flow more, and this one will actually open when it's supposed to. Like, this one's rated at 185, but it didn't open till 212. So, and this one's rated at 180. I haven't actually tested it, but it looks very similar design to the OEM one that came. Or I have another OEM one that's pretty old, and that one actually opened at like 185. But and this one is a pretty similar design to the OEM one, so I'm going to try it out in the car. I mean, it can't be any worse than that one. I mean, I say that now, but I mean, it might be. I'm gonna try it out. All right, so it's a new day, and I want to go over some more things that I found out. So the last thermostat I had, it would fit, but you see how this one right here, it can't come off. The other one, you could just take this off, and it was really hard to get it lined up and bolted in, and I ended up breaking it. So I'm not going to recommend getting that one. This one is a Dorman unit. It was pretty cheap, and you can see it doesn't come off. It actually matches the OEM design. This is an OEM thermostat from a Ford Fusion 2.5. It came off of a motor I just bought. I'll be going over why I bought a Ford Fusion 2.5 in a later video, but as you can see, this one also can't come off, and it is exactly the same as the Speed ones. And this one right here is the Motorad one, but this is the Dorman unit, and it can't come off. It's a better design, just like this OEM one is, and it should run a lot cooler than this one. Yeah, so probably just gonna go ahead and get this one installed, and if I don't make an update after this, then assume that it worked, because I'm going to pretty much end the video here. If it works, I'm not going to make an update. If it doesn't work, I will come back to this video and continue it. I have a big update video coming. I'm going to go review all of my cars. Well, not review, but update all of my cars, including the MR2 and both of my Speeds. And I also have a new car that I'm going to be showing you guys. So see you guys next time.